Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming, and this is The Walking Dead Season 9, Rick Grimes Trapped. There's a brand new teaser trailer out there. They're releasing one every couple days. I want to thank everybody for being here. Drama King will be joining us shortly. We just wanted to prove that no one is immune in a zombie apocalypse, so thank you, Drama. We're going to keep it clean here. Also, Super Chat shout out. We got Valar in the house. Says, hello, 99 Army. Kill Steph, Kels, Emmy, Sweet Tom, sponsors, Patreons, and of course all the super chatters that are out there. We are going to talk about some of the images. Last couple nights we've been throwing it out there with Rick, possible death scenes. Tonight we're going to give an alternate idea. There's still some possibility to the death in the script, and you know, we definitely beat that down. We're not what, a couple weeks away here. We're getting close, everybody. It's going to be here before we know it. But these new images might shine some light on some other opportunities, and I think it's important to sort of piece it together little by little. What's happening at this stage, where this could be going down, what Rick's shirt looks like. Yes, you know, he could have been walking, had the bloody shirt, washed the shirt, and then a future scene. So, I mean, there is going to be some speculation that does go along with it. But got some questions I want to ask everybody tonight, so definitely need your involvement. Want to thank everybody for the last couple nights. Just amazing chat, amazing interaction, and you know, we're just growing like unbelievable. So we're going to start out with this scene, and I had a couple people say, why did we circle the area up near the top? So I watched this in several scenes, and this does look like, I'm going to say this is an area that is close to the bridge, possibly beside the bridge, under the bridge, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. One, you can see, you look right above Rick there, you've kind of got that flat type of dirt with all the other dirt that's been kind of thrown down there. So I didn't feel like that was a cave. I felt like that was probably Rick sliding down. We can't see the back of Rick. And of course, you know, when people dig up dirt, a lot of times you got those roots, and you can see Rick trying to grab a hold of a root to pull himself up, and he pulls it loose. But over where the walker is falling down, and what's interesting about this is that looks to be a rope. And if you guys remember when there was a scene where Rick was kneeling down at the bridge, and Daryl ran by and stabbed the two walkers. There was a rope tied up with the little noose type of thing there, and that looked very similar to me, so I thought that might be a clue as well. This could be the scene where, as we talked about, the casting call for claustrophobic walkers. I know somebody brought it up and said, well, you know, could that be a tunnel? And I said, well, maybe it could be a cave. And then you see this. I'm not sure that this is a cave or it just looks like an embankment, because you can see it looks a little lighter up top, so the sun might be going down, you know, sun passing by or whatever the case may be. But I do think this opens up some possibility as far as how Rick, this could go down, or possibly a potential escape route. So we'll talk about that. It is this scene, and this is Tara looking through the binoculars. So we can see one common theme that is going down with this is there are tons of walkers just kind of manifesting around them. That's going to be a big storyline this year. In the past, we've seen herds, but we saw a herd, you know, the Rock in the Road and all the things they did, lining them up, and it seemed like it was a little bit more predictable. But with all the groups out there, you know, the question is, why are they not doing more to control these big groups? Where are they coming from, and how are they forming all of a sudden? Thank you, Emerald Bacchus. Appreciate that. Huge fan of you as well. So appreciate you being here. So as we've seen the herd on the road, we see Tara gets kind of a glimpse of this. Now, any theories of why these herds are just starting to appear left and right, and it just seems like there's more of a focus this season than in previous seasons. I don't know. Drama should be back very soon, everybody. I know there's going to be some call-outs. What happened to Drama? It's been 5 minutes. He'll be here. Hold tight, everybody. So Timothy Lamore says they are hungry. And Toledo, you know, Toledo and I connect on some of these because I'm thinking the same thing. Viola as well. I think there's some whisper action going on in the backgrounds. I think the whispers are all around, and even though we might not officially see them, they're hiding out. They're hiding out in the woods. They potentially could be hiding out in some caves. I mean, who knows? I mean, we're not saying it's going to take an exact comic book arc, and it may take them a little bit longer. They may be holding to their own, and the more that Rick and the group expand, it's going to get to a point like, hey, you're encroaching on our territory. So it does look like they are showing up. And also, I have to bring this up one more time because people give me a little flack for this. This is either a really obvious, and I pointed this out the first time I saw it, but we keep seeing this scene with this walker. This is the one that was in Rick's face. When Rick woke up, we see it kind of, coming through some area. This feels like a whisperer to me. I mean, the more I look at this face, and I know I caught some flack whenever I did this because they said his teeth are messed up. Look, there's people in the zombie apocalypse that have messed up teeth. He said, well, he couldn't take the walker teeth. I get that. But it doesn't mean that this guy's teeth are not rotted out as well. But the more, look at the way the eyeballs are. That is not deterioration. That is a mask that is cut around in a circular fashion. I have never seen a walker with eyes like that. Take a look at this preview. There's a scene of one of the walkers going up the hill. It was a lady, and the logs are going down, and the logs hit her. Her eyes are not, inset like that. Also, take a look at the nose. It looks like there's an indentation and a cut around the nose. The mouth is perfectly circular, and over on the left cheek, it'd be, right facing us, but his left cheek, look at the indentation. Those are sewing marks, possibly. And the ears aren't falling off. The dude still has ears, shaped ears. And those eyeballs are like eyeballs. So, now, unless someone's doing something a little crazy, experimenting, this is the beginning of alpha or whatever, putting masks on walkers, trying out different experiments, maybe if it's not a if it's not a whisper, it is something going on where there's a mask, and I know that sounds a little stupid. Why would you put a mask, on a walker? I don't know. Maybe they're sizing it up. Maybe they're trying different stuff, getting used to it. But this is a mask. And if I had to really guess with it, I would say it's a whisper. So I know it's several years early before the official announcement, but if there's a few of them creeping around, then maybe one of them could ultimately be what bites Rick or takes Rick out, or maybe doesn't even kill Rick. Now, the first time I saw this, when Rick had his eyes closed, and I said, that is a whisper, people are like, no, kills, not a whisper, that walker's been in other scenes. And I'm like, exactly. How's this walker keep showing up in different scenes if it's not a person? So I think this is a dude. And I see many of you like, it's a whisper, got bit while wearing his mask. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the details are? But just take a look at the eyes. The eyes definitely scream out that it's somebody. All right, back to this scene once again. I want to talk about this and some things that we could use to either prove it or debunk it or whatever we want to do. When Rick is kneeling at the bridge, he has blood on his side. He has blood on his collar. Has dirt on his face. So, that would lead me to believe that Rick either slides down here, he falls, he makes it back up, and there's a reason for the group to come running. So I do think the bridge scene is before this. And if it is before this, this would not be Rick's ending scene. But if there is something else down there under the bridge, and it is possibly let's get into some of the whisper theories. Because maybe this isn't a cave. Maybe, there's a river we know there's a river running around there. But they could just be hanging out, on the bank, making their way up and down the banks of the river, seeing what's going on, using that as their marker, and they happen to run into Rick. Something happens to Rick down here. Now, I'm going to give you a different theory. Is Rick known to be a clumsy person? We're going to walk through this. Because I'm going to give you a theory of what I think goes down here. No. Rick's pretty stealthy. So, if you look right above Rick's shoulder, once again, you see the smooth dirt. Someone else went over the side. And Rick slid down to get to this person, which would explain why Rick comes back covered in blood. It would also explain the dirt on his face. So, now, if there's something else down there, I'm fine with that. But there's been a lot of fighting. And Drama King, if he's not going to encounter Whisper, they sure are putting a lot of these images in there. I mean, it's beyond coincident at this point that we've seen 3 different trailers and we've seen the same face. We see the crows, we see the dialogue between Rick and Daryl, so we know that's going to be a storyline. And now we're seeing a little bit more of the bridge area in the dirt, which is probably going to explain it a little bit more. But it is looking more and more like Rick could be having some interaction with a Whisper. Maybe we've heard from many people that Rick gets stabbed in the side. But that wouldn't explain the blood up on his collar unless, a walker or a Whisper or somebody grabs him. I don't know that Rick is going to hear a Whisper, but if he did, would he tell anybody? Would he explain it to anybody? I mean, Rick has not been the most stable person throughout his history either. If he thought he heard something or thought he saw something, he may not go back and say, hey, there's people dressing up as walkers. He may think it's kind of his own mental state that he's going through. Jolene Gatlin says maybe he's encountering Lydia. Could be a possibility. Do you guys think this is too early to encounter Lydia, or do you think that this might be the right time before she stays with them and grows up a little bit? And I know we won't, I'm not going to say we won't piece it all together because AMC keeps giving us new teasers every couple days. After another week or so, we might have this whole story nailed down. Now, we do know that's a good point. That's a good point. Who said it a second ago? They said maybe he's down there to find Aaron. So let's add Aaron to the mix here. So we have heard from Spoiling Dead's fan page that Aaron loses his arm. Don't know when, but we hear it happens. What if we see Daryl in a fight and we see Aaron in a fight on the bridge. Don't forget, we saw the initial Comic-Con trailer, Aaron scrappy. So what if something happens to Aaron and he gets thrown down here? And Rick is like, oh, hell no. And he just, does a little slide jump and slides down. Once again, I do think the different texture of the dirt, and I get in trouble for these CSI moments. Like, I'll do this video, and somebody will leave in comments that is not a big fan of us. It happens from time to time, and say, oh, Kills is basing his whole theory on the fact that the dirt looks one way in one area and it looks smoothed out in a different area. But, I mean, but, pun fully intended, does that not look like some, smoothed out butt cheek marks sliding down? Anybody ever been in a big pile of dirt when they were a kid and slid down a pile of dirt and it leaves this nice smooth trail? And then you can look at it. If you look to the right of where the smoothed out area is, could certainly be, looks like a handprint. And then if you look at the rest of the dirt, it looks like dirt. It looks like the dirt was just thrown down there. Except for when Rick reaches up, he looks like he's going to try to climb, and he's grabbing a hold of this root, and he's getting ready to start climbing, and next thing you know, boom, something's falling from above. Thank you, Whitney. Whitney says exactly. Booty tracks. Sheila Beasley, I love it. So, you know what? Wi-Fi working is worth a super chat. So Sheila Beasley says, just want to celebrate my Wi-Fi cooperating tonight. I miss you all, and I'm happy to be here. 999 Army forever. So thank you, Sheila Beasley. Appreciate that. So, right, Janet. I mean, it doesn't look like he tumbled, and the question could be, well, okay, how did he get down there? And if he went down there voluntarily or there was a path, he wouldn't be reaching for these roots to try to climb back up. He would be, okay, let me walk back around and walk up the little hill that I came down. He slid down in a hurry, and he's trying to get out in a hurry. Or he's trying to get somewhere. Or he's trying to get away from something. But then the question is, why did he go down there in the first place? And, oh, did I missed a super chat. Hold on, hold the phone, everybody. I'm really into this stream tonight and these pictures, so yes. Let me get back. Thank you, Villar. So let me get back to Julie McGuire. Do we know if they filmed more than one episode regarding Rick leaving? So, Julie, it's a good question. So let me just go by what I know from the spoilers, and you may know this as well. We know toward the end that we had Rick filming in one area and a wild goose chase in another area. We also have heard that there were a lot of extras, and the helicopter was seen filming on Rick's final episode. So, have they filmed Rick leaving in multiple episodes? I don't know the answer to that question. And if Spoiling Dead's fan page does know it, or someone else does know it, they're not talking about it. And I also want to say, and you guys know this, there's some politics that go on with very major deaths. And I think with this one is, AMC wants us to know a lot about Rick Grimes, so they're not afraid of getting the spoilers out there. So I would not be surprised we start getting the information middle of next week. Hold tight. I think there'll be some confirmed spoilers middle of next week. That's all I can say at this point. So Casey, and this is what I was kind of getting at, this possibly could be where Aaron loses his arm. I think we asked this in a previous stream, and kind of remind me or correct me if I'm wrong. We did not see Aaron running across the bridge, correct? Aaron was one of the ones that was not present. So, then that's still kind of live. If Aaron's down here, Rick slides down after him. Aaron was in that fight on the bridge, and next thing you know, something goes down and the whole group's got to run after walkers, then I think that's legit. We got Jimmy's jamming with the super chat, and Jimmy says, okay, I know Rick getting his hand cut off has been a sore spot with you, but since Rick won't be around to have his hand cut off, Aaron will have to take the chop off for him. Do you agree? I do agree. I don't like it. I think Aaron losing an arm, losing a hand, Aaron growing out the Rick beard, Aaron looks more like Rick in the comics than Rick looks like Rick in the comics. And if Aaron had a little bit more airtime, his personality might be more similar to Rick's personality. I mean, we don't know. I think there's a pretty distinct difference between television Rick and comic Rick. So, could Aaron play that comic role? I absolutely think he could play it. I don't think he's a replacement. I don't think we're going to just necessarily get over Rick. But I don't see Rick, and you guys may disagree with this because you're a little further along in the comics than me, but I've read most of the Rick story up to 107. I don't see Rick as Rick comic. I just see Rick. There are some similarities in many of them, but there's also, because there's so many different characters, Carol is obviously different. There was no Daryl. Maggie is different. I mean, give Aaron a chance, but I think it'll take Aaron and more characters. And I do like Andy's version of Rick Grimes better than the comic version of it. And that may not be the most popular opinion either, but it's just, and it's probably because I watched the show before I read the comics. But I am definitely okay with Aaron taking on a bigger role. And I'm warming up. This is hard. I'm warming up to the Negan redemption. I'm not ready to accept a Rick Grimes death. But I'm also starting not to like Daryl's role. And let me explain that. I see Daryl fighting on the bridge. I don't know what caused it. I see Daryl picking up a pan and slapping a guy in the face with it while Carol's telling him not to do it. I see Daryl throwing his bike down and ready to fight Rick. I see Daryl sharpening his knife. And I see Daryl talking about, even at the end of last season, Daryl kind of in the shadows when Maggie's talking about getting ready, and Daryl's fine with that, like, getting their revenge. I'm not going to hold that against him. But then I also hear Daryl talk to Rick saying, you changed things, blaming Rick for trying to make the world better for more people. And look, I know there's a lot of Daryl fans out there, and I'm not trying to go anti-Daryl. This is what I'm saying. And, some of the really big fans out there, especially Steph. You guys know Steph the Cuervo Queen is hardcore Daryl fan. And I see a lot of people saying Daryl's irritating me. And this is the moment of reality. Got to remind everybody, kind of like Chris Hardwick does. It's a TV show. It's not a documentary. The writers are controlling that. And I'm stating the obvious. I understand. You guys know that. But the writers make mistakes by overstating a character's position. Case in point, Negan. Negan was far too violent for television to redeem him quite so fast. I think it took some compromise on our part as viewers to start, okay, yeah, we'll buy in. Yeah, the Carl death. Yeah, we get it. It's for a bigger picture. Ultimately, Negan, everybody's going to need Negan. So we've tabled some of that. Not all of it, but we've tabled some of it. They have to be careful to not make Daryl cross Rick too much and then potentially kill Rick and then try to resurrect Daryl's personality again. This is what I'm a little afraid of. Okay? You see Daryl, and as many of you have said, Daryl's starting to irritate you a little bit. Irritating you a little bit is okay. But if this becomes a full-scale conflict where all we're hearing from Daryl is, when it's a small group, it was right. This isn't right. It's not, I'm going to kill that son bitch. It's not that. That's Daryl. Making these threats and doing things. But now it's as if there's direct blame. And when we were a small group, it was right. Well, Rick, you changed this. This is you. Well, Daryl should have enough awareness to say, no, Rick didn't change this. Carl changed this, and Rick is trying to do this for Carl because he felt like it was the right thing to do. And if you want Daryl to be a leader, and if you want Daryl to be one of the 3 or 4 that people are going to follow, you cannot have him betray Rick this close to Rick's exit. That's what concerns me. Negan could do it because, in theory, it happened a couple years ago in TV time. Been locked up. We're going to hear some one-on-one conversations. We're going to see, in a weird sort of way, we're probably going to see a closeness between Negan and Rick, or a different form of a relationship between Negan and Rick. So if they're writing Daryl into this role that we're already getting a little bit frustrated with, then I'm going to say pump the brakes here. You better not have... You can't have Daryl and Rick fighting one episode before Rick dies and say, we're going to use the guilt of Rick's death to change Daryl's character. Because Rick's exit is going to be meant to change the behavior of everybody. Would you guys think that's a fair assessment? I'm not saying it's going to be all for the good, but the exit or the death of Rick Grimes is going to have an everlasting impact on the characters and the show, which is why I think Andy says my relationship with Rick Grimes is far from over, because it is going to be, as he said in the interview, it's going to be something that lives through every other character. And Toledo, that I think that's a slippery slope. Toledo says, I think Daryl will be more hot-headed and angry after Rick dies. Writers have to be careful. Because it is that fine line. I think that's a good point, Angie. Angie says, when Rick said to Negan, not today, not tomorrow, but I'm going to kill you. And he said it a couple times. But it just shows the power that the writers had in enforcing that upon Rick. And it does appear we're going to see a more peaceful Rick. We're going to see, Rick's watching, Judith make paintings. They're checking out the birds. Bed with Michonne, where she calls him the famous Rick Grimes. I mean, we're seeing that lighter side. We're seeing Rick trying to help the sanctuary. We hear it in this, how, if we don't help the sanctuary, everything is for nothing. I'm just checking out a couple comments here. So Ida says, I think the writers are trying to keep Daryl's character aligned with who they established with him in the beginning. And I think that's a fair point. But can you keep the characters aligned with who they established in the beginning? Because they're going to go through so much change. And many of the characters have changed. And I think they're going to have to change even more when there's this new threat unlike anything they've ever faced. Yep. Good points. Good points. Let's go back to this cave scene. And let's just say, for whatever reason, we're going to humor it. It's not a cave. I think it's a bank. I think we can agree it's a bank. But before the theories come out, I don't think that this is an escape route. I don't think this is a scene where they can leave it open-ended. And this is why I wanted to talk about this, because it is important. But to me, the timeline is fight on the bridge, Rick slides down, Rick makes it back up, blood on his shirt. So it's either going to be a lot of Walker blood, or he went down there to retrieve somebody to bring them back up somehow. And then next scene, group goes out there. There's more noise, more walkers, more chaos. So I think this is prior to the kneeling scene with Rick. And I don't think this is something that would be left open-ended. As he falls down in a cave, they don't see what happens. Now, still a possibility, I guess. I mean, I guess there could be place Rick falls into. I mean, they are doing a lot of construction. Haven't seen it. Haven't seen any visual evidence saying that. But we don't see a lot of cave scenes on The Walking Dead. Why not? Could there be these tunnels? Could there be, could the Whispers have their own little underground thing working here? And that's why we haven't seen them. And perhaps Rick does get taken in one of these and they leave it open-ended. I think that there's as much possibility of something like that happen as a helicopter rescuing Rick. Yeah, but Luray is about 3 hours from Alexandria. That would be a stretch. I don't think so, Ron. I'm not saying they're mole people. I'm just saying that, maybe there's some caves. I mean, we saw bear traps. If we saw the bear traps in Virginia, we could have some mining going on and some caves. Fake, Adam. The helicopter thing was definitely photoshopped. And I don't even know if it's around anywhere anymore. It didn't last long. I'm still here, everybody. I'm just going through a couple of the comments. I want to get some of these comments included in this video. So, yes, episode 6 that was untitled. Who are you now? What do you guys think that means? I mean, I got my prediction. Yeah, I do think it is. I think it's a speech. I would see it as being Negan unifying the groups and getting rid of the whole Negan thing. Where, who are you? We're Negan. I would see Rick dying in 5 and Negan trying to rally. I think Rick's going to die saving Negan. And I think Negan's going to get the group together and say, who are you now? And they're not going to answer Negan. They're going to be one unified group. Oh, okay. There you go, Legend. We think alike. Yeah, I still think that's the only way I can ever be a Negan supporter. Not a Negan fan. I don't know if I'm ready to go that route yet. But a Negan supporter, and it better be good. Rick will have to save Negan in the most selfless, most epic way. I mean, the writer's saying it's epic. They're saying it's brutal. They're saying it's graceful. And that would be kind of touching, wouldn't it? If Negan got everybody together and said, who are you now? And they all, were Rick. The legacy of Rick lives on. Maybe a little corny, but who knows? It might translate well to television. But they can't get away. They can't get away from the Shane and the White Horse, in my opinion. So we're going to make a couple announcements, and I'm going to call on a few people. I just want to get these images out there. I'll flip through them one more time. If you guys could all do me a favor, big crowd the last couple days. We can get the whole 999 Army. If you guys had a good time talking about spoilers, whether it potentially could be death scenes, whether it could be Rick and Escape, hit that like button. Show a little love for the 999 Army. And if you're brand new, which many of you, I've seen a lot of new faces last couple days, hit that 999 button in the bottom corner, because we definitely want you guys to hang out with us and get more thoughts and get more ideas. So a couple more things from this teaser. We saw the bloody bat and rain in the background with Michonne walking away. And we're going to talk about that over the weekend, because there are a couple more images that I do want to touch on. But that whole scene, the way that goes down, I'm going to make one modification to my potential theory. And because when Rick saw all the walkers on the road, and we saw that look of confusion, or this could be the future, what happens to them, the only thing that I think needs to change with that, I'm not 100% positive that if that is the final death scene. I feel like we heard rumors that the scene where Rick was surrounded was at a graveyard. Okay? We've also heard night filming. And the scene, if you say Michonne and scene, it becomes machine. Don't hashtag it, please. I know you guys are going to do it. I already see it. Hashtag machine. The scene with Michonne, there's rain coming down. So there's also another scene with Michonne where she's killing walkers and it's dark. So I just have a feeling that it's going to be night. I think it's going to be night, raining. That mood actually makes it, I think, easier for the actors to get into character and to see that sadness and that kind of, it's already somber, right? You're at a graveyard, and if you're an actor and everybody's got to get on cue for this, and you're going to be panicking and you see Rick dying, surrounded at a graveyard paying tribute to Night of the Living Dead, mud, sinkhole type of environment with the graves, Michonne trying to fight through it. I see that happening a little bit more than the daylight scene with Rick on the street surrounded by walkers. I think coming out of nowhere in the middle of the night is going to make it tougher. We're still going to need a little bit more. Hey, Stefanella, I might. But let's talk about it, okay? I mean, it's important to visualize these things before they happen, because if you're sitting in a room with a bunch of writers, that's what they're doing. And they're talking about the impact on the audience. Exploding gas pump. Jimmy, I don't want to see any fire and surrounded by walkers and Rick in the same predicament that Madison was in. That I won't accept. Well, that's a good question. Now, first of all, let's come up with a couple events that may lend itself to this nighttime scene that we talked about. If Negan were to escape, or someone were to let Negan out, more than likely it would be at night. Now, you do have a bloody bat as well. So I don't know how I kind of want to visualize all of it going down. But I do feel like Rick's going to save Negan. I think that is a must for a Rick Grimes death. It has to happen. There's no other way he can die. If he's not going to die trying to ingratiate the image of Negan on the audience and make him accept it again, there's no other way he can die. Well, Storm, it's not a matter of him saving Negan at this point. I think it's a matter of he didn't save Negan. He spared Negan. There's a difference. He spared Negan to make an example out of Negan. To use Negan to show nobody else is ever going to be like you. So he hasn't forgiven him and he hasn't saved him. But someone letting Negan out. But, if there's a bloody bat out there, maybe Negan's leaving. Maybe he's helping. Maybe he's doing something for the good. Maybe he's killing walkers. Maybe he's sacrificing himself. Whatever the case may be. Negan might be the one in trouble. And the ultimate act of forgiveness, the ultimate act of kindness, the only way that Maggie's going to forgive Negan, the only way that Daryl's going to forgive Negan and let him live, is if Rick handcuffs them figuratively. If Rick dies for Negan, showing people that anybody can change. There's zero chance. And it's the only story I can possibly think of. There's zero chance Maggie kills Negan after Rick dies for Negan. There's zero chance that Daryl does it too. That's going to be kind of Rick's impact. Well, here's the thing, Kirby. And Kirby says Maggie will never forgive Negan. But Maggie won't kill Negan either. Maggie's leaving the show in episode 6. She ain't killing Negan in episode number 6. So, if she's not going to forgive him, she's not going to live around him. She's going to leave. Which would still make sense. So, Jason, mixologist says, and a couple people said this, Negan carrying Rick's dead body back to the group. That would be very dicey. One, it would be permanence, and we would all know that there's no chance it's open-ended. But if it's not witnessed, Negan would be accused of it. And I think that's possible as long as Carol's there, Maggie's there, all of them are there to witness that he's not the one that really caused it. So, EVH and Gear TV, thank you so much for that super chat. It says, hey man, love the channel. Love to have you as a guest on my show, Rocking Dead with Lou Temple. So send me message me either on Kick or message me directly, and appreciate your support. And like Machine Gun Kelly said, we'll talk about it. Six-Eyed Sports, super chatting, says, that's got to be it. In the trailer, we see Michonne picking up bloody Lucille at night. He's gone. Rick goes out looking for him. Michonne follows. Rick dies saving Negan. You heard it here first. Yeah. That's kind of what we were talking about, right? But I didn't super chat it, so I guess exactly. And I think that's what we're sort of walking through. So DJ Low Key says, realistically, I can't see Daryl forgiving Negan. Once again, it really depends on the guilt factor with Daryl, and that's the part that's bothering me, because I don't like that overly used as a plot central theme of a show. That okay, we can just have an argument, and then that's going to be the whole driving force behind this character in the future. So with Daryl, it could be guilt. With Rick, it could be Rick and Negan. It could be compassion. It could be, look, you were trying to build something. I questioned you. You just died for me. Now I'm going to show everybody that I can try to carry out your legacy and be a different leader. We know Negan can lead. We don't like the way he led, but we know that he is charismatic. And we know he's not afraid. But he's violent. And he's a psychopath. But could Rick giving his life for him change him? If the writers want that to be, yeah. I think that's a quality storyline. I don't think it's corny. I think I could get behind that. And as we talked about before with Maggie's always wanted to kill Negan. Now, let's take it a step further. Let's really, really mix it up. What if on this night, now, this is good. This is good. You guys are going to like this. But you know what? Hold on. I'm not giving this great prediction until we get over 200 likes. So I got a lot of people holding back. They're holding the like button hostage right now. So you know what? Turnabout is fair play. I'm going to take this theory to a whole different level, Six Side Sports. And if you guys want it, you got to show it. Let's do it. Like it up. All right, I know we'll get there. So I'm not going to penalize everybody, but I'm going to go ahead and give you guys this. Okay. This will really change the dynamic. So what if, not just Negan escaping, what if on this night, remember what we saw, right? We saw, this is going to get good. I think we got it. All right, we saw Maggie and Daryl. You know what? I asked to do this theory and said hit the like button, and 2 asshats hit the dislike button. You guys got to be kidding me. Come on now. All right. Anyway, this is going to be bold prediction here. Okay, so we saw Maggie and Daryl walking with gas cans. Okay? Then we saw the gas and the fire burning toward what looked to be concrete, Negan's cell. So, Maggie and Daryl are coming at night to take out Negan. They're like, you know what? We put up with it enough. It's all going down right here, right now. They're seeking their revenge. We've got the gas cans. We know they had it. Then they go over that night. Word gets out that they're after Negan. Rick lets Negan out of the cell. Goes to save Negan. To spare Negan from Daryl and Maggie. They hit the road. Negan gets in trouble. Rick gives his life to save Negan. And then Maggie and Daryl are at a whoa. The scene with Negan appears to happen at night. They could be running toward the graveyard. Michonne's making her way over there. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say that, look, there are some cryptic messages out there talking about Maggie and Rick's relationship and how Maggie has not fully gotten over this and how she's been plotting revenge at just the right time. And we do see the evil in Daryl. And Daryl's talking about how he doesn't agree with these big groups. And Negan is the symbol for all of that pain, all of that persecution. So they want to take him out. They want to take out what they see as the former leader. So with Maggie and Daryl, it's not about getting back at Rick. It's not about Michonne. But you know what? If we can't break him out, let's burn him out. That's why that theory is so powerful. Because if there's guard duty, the guard's going to get the hell out of there. They're like, let me just leave. So they can get rid of the guard and pour the gasoline, which would go into his cell and not even have to break him out and kill him. They're going to burn him alive. Rick rescues him, has to get away, and ultimately they end up getting surrounded by walkers at night in a cemetery. And then it starts raining. And the ground's soft. There's going to be some falling and some surrounding, and they're coming out. Because guess who just started a fire? And guess what walkers are attracted to? Fire. So everybody's got a hand in this. Everybody can take some of the blame. And we're wondering how they get surrounded because we've seen herd after herd after herd. So we know they're out there. And the fire's going to draw them in, and ultimately they get surrounded. And Rick goes in and sacrifices himself to save Negan. The end. And of course, Michonne can't get there. She can't sacrifice herself. They're not going to let her do it. Maggie's going to realize that, whoa, we caused this. It has all the elements of what we talked about. We've seen the hints. Negan changes. He's obligated to. Daryl realizes he can't kill Negan because Rick was worth sacrificing for Negan. How can you kill Negan when Rick just showed you, I will give my life for him? That's how important it is to keep him alive. Maggie can't kill Negan, but you can't live around Negan. So she's got to go. Her exit paves the way for her exit. Would be brutal, would be epic, would also be graceful. The big three they keep talking about. would open up the door for a future Daryl-Negan partnership when they have to fight together. So I think we got a shot here. Now, how it's filmed, the story is probably not the most original story that's ever happened, but it's original enough that if it is visually appealing and fast pace and action, I think it could be good. I think that how quick and how sneaky and how clever they try to plan this out, and then running for their lives and surrounded, and then ultimately paying tribute to Night of the Living Dead, being surrounded in a graveyard. I think it'll have a very eerie feel to it. So Deborah says, I would hate Daryl and Maggie after this scenario, though. So let me tell you why I would and why I wouldn't. Because I still think that they're forgivable. Because they're not there to kill Rick. If Rick gives him his life for Negan, that's his choice. They're there for revenge, and we know that they want revenge. So I don't fault both of them for wanting to kill Negan. We can always fault them, but you know what? We could fault Daryl for Glenn dying if we really wanted to. But we don't. At least for the most part we don't, because we figured what was going to happen was going to happen. And I agree with that part of it. So Deborah says, but they didn't think it through. They put everyone in danger. Yeah, I mean, their plan could have been, you ain't going to leave. We're going to get to him. Let's just burn him under there. But I'm going to go with that. I feel that's a nice, bold theory. I think it satisfies most of the things that we need to check there. The scene with Shane leading the walkers away, I think it's a metaphor. Obviously, he's not really alive. Does it matter whether he's riding them, it's daylight on a dirt road, or would it be too obvious if it was nighttime and you wouldn't be able to see the walkers? I mean, I feel like that's Rick's vision regardless. So since it's not real, it doesn't matter. It could be, Rick going down for the count, and he's already seen several other things, and they sort of flashed in. But if that did happen at night, then I think that would be too much of a clue. Like, okay, hang on, we got this Michonne scene at night, we got this fire at night, now we got this person on this white horse, which probably doesn't exist at night. Yeah, I think it's just all just for visual. All right, everybody, we're going to wind this thing down. We've hit 1 hour and 3 minutes. Wow. Where does time go? I mean, we start talking and we get together and it's streaming and comments and super chats and a whole lot of stuff going on. And we're at 1 hour and 4 minutes with no commercial breaks. So 1 hour and 4 minutes without commercials seems like slightly longer, but it does go quick. So I want to thank all of you for being here. We probably will not have a stream tomorrow night. I do reserve the right to do an additional stream. Typically, we don't stream on Fridays. But if we do, I will post it on the 999 Walking Dead fan page. So if you guys get a chance, sign up for that, and then you'll see whether we add streams or cancel streams. We got Jimmy's jamming with a super chat right, getting in before the gate is officially closed there. Jimmy's jamming says, I like the jailbreak kills. It works for me. It just kind of happened. I didn't kind of premeditate that, but the more of these facts that come out, and we were thinking about the gasoline, I think it's got some merit. We could definitely get together and talk about it a little bit more. Think about it a little bit, like most theories. If you see some holes in the theory, then let's get together and we'll analyze it, we'll debate it, we'll discuss it. And we got plenty of streams coming up next week, so we'll probably add that as a topic of conversation and dig into it a little bit more. The schedule the rest of the week, as we mentioned earlier, we do have a couple other channels, and you'll see content start to show up on those channels within the next few days. One of those being our 909 Sports channel. We'll get together early Saturday morning. If you're college football fans, about 11 o'clock on Saturday, we are going to do some college football predictions. And also Sunday at noon, we will do our fantasy football predictions, and also we'll pick some of the game, the total, all of that. And then at 8 o'clock on Sunday night, we will be back here on this channel. We'll do Fear the Walking Dead countdown on a couple episodes left, so it's going to get cool really fast. Looking forward to that as well. And then, of course, we'll do the reaction afterwards. And then Monday through Thursday, you can pretty much expect every night at 9:30. When Walking Dead kicks off, we might do dual streams. We possibly could do a 7 o'clock stream and also a 9:30 stream. It's going to be madness. We're going to have so many things to talk about. We want to find topics to just kind of work for everybody. So if you're watching the playback, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And this is going to be the closing credits. So I want to start out with the Patreons. You can see up in the top left corner. I do want to give a couple shout outs yesterday to two brand new patrons. We got Michael Dillman and also our famous Wilson from this stream, also a sponsor. So Wilson making the trifecta. We have filled up the bulletin board. We're going to extend the bulletin board because we know we're going to have more people want to sign up and be patrons and kind of get a little bit of extra tidbits. So if you are interested in supporting the channel financially, there is a link down below. Appreciate everything that you guys do, no doubt about it. And also you can see some of the sponsors. Their chat is in green. They get custom emojis. They're listed over on the right. Nice list of that. We got Sergeant Chosen One saying, won't make it Saturday, but see you Sunday night. Thank you, Sarge. Appreciate that and appreciate that super chat as well. And also want to shout out the people that super chatted in tonight's stream. We got Valar, Julie, Sheila Beasley, Jimmy's Jammin', EVH and Gear TV, who invited me to do a cameo on his show, or her show. Don't know which gender that is. Six-Eyed Sports as well, The Walking Dead Nerd, and of course our very own Sergeant Chosen One. Appreciate all of you. And we got gear, if you guys want to check that out as well, for Walker Stalkers Comic-Con. And the last, I gotta shout out my mods, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, most amazing mods in the world. You guys see them every single night. And I saved the last shout out for, of course, the 999 Army in its totality. You guys are amazing. Thank you for an awesome week. Tons of new people. The channel is growing. The conversation is always live. It's created by you. One difference between our channel and many other channels is we are hardcore Walking Dead fans. So you'll see mostly positive topics. We will debate things. We will, we'll talk about topics, and we'll talk about when we don't agree with something. But at the end of the day, we're still going to be fans. And the other thing is you get your chats included in this real time. So you don't have to wait 30 minutes, 40 minutes to leave a comment, wait for someone's comment, check it a day or two later. This is happening right before your very eyes, and these videos just kind of create themselves. So give me a whole lot of 999s. That was my ending speech there. I want to say thank you to Jolene Gatlin, Drama King, New York City, Gina Crockett, Valar, Lisa Mandy. Who else we got? Emerald Bacchus, Timothy Lamora, Storm 3851, Liz Burnett. I see you, Aaron, Legend 83, Rebecca, Phoenix Rising. That's what I'm talking about. That's the 999 Army right there. When you guys see that stream, I can't keep up with that, but that's cool stuff. Michelle M, Toledo, Marie Levy, Lakeisha Faison, Kimberly G, and also we got Kimberly G in green and Kimberly G in red. That's how I tell them apart. Shane Hassan, LH Star, have a good night. Albert Author, Jake from State Farm at 3 a.m., Billy Henley, Bumblebee Brown, Zelda Faz, thank you so much. Got to put on the coffee. You got it. Crystal, the singer chick Gore, thank you, Crystal. M. Gunday, have a good night. Newfield 12, Betty Jackson, Adam Vasquez, DDA Ohio, Ruben Dominguez, Shane Hudson. I'm seeing a lot of new faces. So all you new people that are new to the 999 Army, subscribe and also hit that like button. And one more thing. I know I make a lot of requests out of you, but you guys are amazing, so I'm going to ask for one more thing. If you're watching the playback, please leave comments in real time to the people that are streaming. You'll see them streaming along your screen as they're happening. And also, those of you that are leaving comments, go back and check out the video once again once it's posted, because there are going to be people replying to what you're saying. So, love that interaction. Michael Calcutt, thank you. Appreciate that. Ron Burgundy Moore. Tommy V. So once again, there's a very low likelihood that we will stream this Friday. Once season starts, we'll probably add Friday streams. But you never know. We might just kind of do one out of the blue. Depends on what the schedule has in entail. The Walking Dead, Mike Jones. Tracy Dees, thank you so much. New to the 999 family and great chat. We appreciate you being here, Tracy. Join us on our Facebook page as well. And we'll give you a shout out there as well, too. Kentrell Muhammad, thank you. Amber McGilton. Have a good night, Amber. I'm going to enunciate it. Howling Wolf, thank you. Ed or Holly Fire Squirrel Smith, thank you for being here. And those of you who hang around for a little bit, you know that we'll do some shout outs at the end. And also, we've been kind of just chilling with some outtakes, random conversation at the end of the videos. Some people are in a hurry to leave, but they don't know what they're missing, because you might get like a little bit of bonus stuff. Could be music, could be gaming, a whole lot of stuff. You guys have a good night. Thank you. Recently, I did, I know there's questions about gaming, and I will be ramping up additional games that are coming out. But The Walking Dead, Our World, the 999 Army, as you guys know, we're ranked, I think, number 2 in the world. But my commitment to streaming and my commitment to this channel and my commitment to gaming are two totally different things. So I still fully support the 999 Army on Walking Dead, Our World. But I have resigned from the game. My playtime, I just couldn't keep up with a top-level guild and what the commitment was going to be. It's not a question of skill set. It is a question of time. And because we are going to be doing more streams and we're going to be hanging out here a little bit more, I just can't put in 30, 40 hours that is necessary in order to play the game. So, and I know we have casual, and casual is doing well, but I just thought it's kind of my best interest to take a leave. And I know there's people that joined. Many of you joined because I asked you to join, and I'm glad you did. You guys are amazing gamers. But just with my schedule, especially over the next 3 months, it's not fair that I hold the group back, because that group can be number 1 in the world. And if I'm only putting in 10 hours a week in gameplay, it requires so much more than that. And I respect the people that can do it. I can't right now. But you guys keep the tradition alive for as long as the game is a good game. I don't know. There's some bugs in there. But hopefully they make it more friendly to the gamers. But I do gaming, comics, these streams. I mean, I'm kind of into a lot. But you got to know. You got to know when you're the engine or you're the anchor. And in the beginning, hey, look, I was right there filling up boards. I was the engine. But when you're the anchor and you start holding people back, I'm not going to be a figurehead for the guild. That guild is self-sufficient. Hired help does a great job there. Kel does a good job. Julie, Tammy, Gina, you guys are amazing. So keep it rolling. Represent the 999 Army. Toledo, I have not, and I won't get into any of the new comics until I do catch up with the old ones. So I have not seen it. I'm not up to date on Commonwealth. I'm not up to date not even in the Whisper War. Thank you, Emerald. Appreciate that. Did someone just give me a shout out? I think I saw that streaming up there a minute ago. Well, thank you. I think someone said what you do is intense or something like that and gave me a shout out. So good stuff, man. Michael. Thank you, Michael. I will be playing the new Walking Dead game. I will be playing some other app games that'll pop up on the 999 Plays channel. But there'll be things that, one, I review, and number two, that we don't have to put a ton of time into. Did I miss another super chat? Well, hold on. Let me check. You know what? I did. And it was between Jimmy's super chat and Sergeant Chosen One. So the Walking Dead nerd, thanks for the Thursday stream. Kills, enjoy your weekend. You know what? I got you. So I'll do another super chat when everybody's here again, because there's only about 2/3 of our audience still left here hanging out for the outtakes. So I missed a couple tonight. You know, part of it is the super chats will stream, and if I'm going through bullet points or something that I had a predetermined topic, then I've got to go back. So a lot of times the moderators will type super chat to sort of keep me on point. Captain Marvel is coming. Game of Thrones chat is going to be coming. And we're going to get into... If you guys want to do movies, we'll do movies as well. I have no problem. But we'll just have to preface everything with saying we could be spoiling stuff. Like when Venom comes out, if you guys want me to watch Venom and give you my take on it, I'll absolutely do it. We will, no doubt about it, be doing Game of Thrones streams and Game of Thrones chat. Here's why we're not doing more of it now, and I'm not saying that we won't within the next couple weeks, but it is a commitment. It is a dedication. I don't want to do something half-assed with Game of Thrones. And look, I know a lot of you are experts, and I'm going to use you as a resource, absolutely. But there are much, much more knowledgeable people on Game of Thrones than me right now. So I want to get a little bit more prepared before we start doing it. So it's not just relying on the chats, but there are, you know, my comments do help. And I think with Walking Dead, that's easy. I'm there. You know, I'm involved in it. With Game of Thrones, I'm there, but I'm going to have to dig in a little bit deeper. So that's why we're kind of waiting a little bit more with those streams. And I definitely couldn't do it on a daily basis. We could add it back one day a week, and we will. I'm still here. I'm just like seeing some of the comments that are strolling. This is like chill time. But there's also, you know, with other shows, we're just not going to do any show. I like Stranger Things, and that's got enough of a following. I absolutely think that we could get in because there's enough mysteries, and it's the type of thing that we like talking about. So, Walking Dead, obviously, Fear the Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and Stranger Things are probably the 4 things that we're going to focus on, and then we'll add some movies and some other stuff to it. So that's a little bit of kind of what's going on. I will likely see everybody on Saturday, but hold tight. If we have some breaking news or something comes out tomorrow, we will do an emergency broadcast stream. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Nikki, I did watch Lost in Space. I enjoyed it. I don't know if there's enough other interest in it to do it. But I'll definitely be open-minded toward it, and we could even rotate. I mean, we could pick one night of the week, and maybe that'd be our Friday stream, and do a Lost in Space, Stranger Things, Game of Thrones, and just add that. But let me give it a little bit of thought, see what the schedule's like, and then we will either post it on the Facebook page, we'll talk about it here, or we'll add it on the Patreon page as well. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate everything you guys do, and I will see you all definitely by Saturday. Peace.